Picture this. The courtroom is silent, too silent. The air feels heavy, as if the entire nation is holding its breath. And then Tyler Robinson finally speaks. After months of silence, he utters a name. Not just any name, the name of the person he claims orchestrated the murder of Charlie Kirk. The room freezes. Reporters leap from their seats. Phones start buzzing like a swarm of bees. Outside the courthouse, camera crews scramble, broadcasting the news in real time. And within minutes, the entire internet explodes. Tonight, we're not just talking about a confession. We're talking about a confession that changes everything. A confession that may finally answer the question that's haunted this case from the very beginning. Did Tyler Robinson really act alone? Or has he just revealed the puppet master behind one of the most shocking assassinations in modern political history? To understand why this confession is sending shockwaves across the country, we have to go back to the day everything changed. It was a clear afternoon in City Name, the kind of day that draws families to the plaza and fills the streets with chatter. And then in an instant, the peace shattered. Gunfire rang out. The victim, Charlie Kirk, a polarizing political figure known for his fiery speeches and massive online following. Whether you loved him or hated him, one thing was certain: his voice carried weight, and that made him a target. Witnesses remember chaos. People screaming, ducking for cover, phones hitting the ground as the crowd scattered. Within minutes, police swarmed the area, and just blocks away, on a nearby rooftop, they found him, Tyler Robinson. The suspect was arrested almost immediately. Weapon still warm, spent shell casings scattered around him like confetti from a nightmare. On the surface, it looked simple. Shooter found, weapon recovered, motive presumed. Law enforcement moved quickly, calling it an open and shut case. But the public wasn't convinced. And as days turned into weeks, cracks began to form. The timeline didn't quite match. Eyewitnesses disagreed. Surveillance clips raised more questions than answers. And then came the text messages. Mysterious, encrypted, and damning enough that the FBI director himself said, quote, "The texts speak for themselves. If that sounds ominous, it's because it is." Those 5 words lit a fire under this investigation and sent internet sleuths into overdrive. At first, the evidence painted a picture so clear it seemed undeniable. Investigators say Robinson had positioned himself on the rooftop hours before the shooting. Forensic teams traced his fingerprints across the rifle, the ammo box, even the scope. Gunshot residue was found on his hands and clothes. Ballistics experts matched the rounds pulled from the victim's body directly to the weapon recovered at the scene. Surveillance footage from nearby businesses showed a figure, allegedly Robinson, moving toward the building entrance carrying what appeared to be a long case. Witnesses reported hearing 3 sharp cracks echo through the plaza, followed by screams. Seconds later, cell phone footage captured police sprinting toward the rooftop. It all pointed in one direction: Tyler Robinson. But here's where it gets strange. According to official reports, Robinson was spotted on foot in the plaza just minutes before the shooting. Yet leaked surveillance screenshots posted to Reddit seemed to place him in the area hours earlier carrying a backpack. So where was he for that missing stretch of time? What was he doing? And if the rooftop was his perch, why do some witnesses insist they saw another figure, a shadow, slip away just as officers arrived? And then there's the phone data. Investigators confirm Robinson's phone pinged off multiple towers in the hours before the assassination. But leaked screenshots on Twitter suggest those pings put him in 2 different locations at once, raising the chilling possibility that either someone else was using a second device or Robinson had help. The moment those inconsistencies hit the internet, the case took on a life of its own. On Twitter, now X, hashtags like #CharlieKirk assassination and #whoelsewasinvolved shot straight to the top of the trending list. One viral tweet read, "If the texts speak for themselves, then release them. What are they hiding?" It racked up more than 3 million views in under 24 hours. Over on TikTok, creators began dissecting the FBI press briefings frame by frame, slowing down the footage, analyzing Director Patel's tone and body language. One video with 500,000 likes put it bluntly. He knows there's more than one person. You can see it in his eyes. Reddit's Orse True Crime, lit up like a crime scene Christmas tree. Armchair detectives were cross-referencing leaked documents, mapping out timelines, and building digital corkboards that tried to piece together every movement Robinson made that day. Podcasters jumped in next. Shows like Crime Weekly and True Crime Garage speculated that the text messages referenced by the FBI might link Robinson to a second individual, maybe even someone with political ties. Suddenly, this wasn't just a murder investigation. This was a national guessing game. To the public, the idea of a lone gunman was no longer convincing. The evidence didn't add up, the timeline didn't fit, and the pressure on investigators was reaching a boiling point. And then, just when it seemed like the speculation had reached its peak, everything changed. Late last night, an audio recording leaked online, a clip allegedly taken from a closed-door interrogation session with Tyler Robinson. For months, Robinson had said almost nothing. His silence had been as deafening as the shot that killed Charlie Kirk. But in this clip, his voice is steady, calm, and what he says sends chills down the spine of everyone who hears it. "I didn't plan this alone," he says. "I was told what to do and who to take out. If I'm going down, they're going down with me." And then, the name. A name that had never appeared in any official report. A name tied to powerful circles. Within minutes of the leak, news outlets from coast to coast were scrambling. Major networks cut into regular programming. FBI officials refused to comment. Prosecutors stayed silent, but social media didn't wait. TikTok exploded with frame-by-frame breakdowns of the clip. Twitter erupted in hashtags demanding answers. On Reddit, users dug through every known piece of evidence trying to connect the dots. And here's the part that's even more chilling. The leaked confession matches up with at least 3 unexplained data points in the FBI's own timeline. If Robinson is lying, it's an incredibly detailed lie. But if he's telling the truth, then the man who pulled the trigger may just be the smallest piece of a much larger puzzle. The leaked confession didn't just name names. It cracked open the case like a sledgehammer. Let's start with the timeline. Official reports say Robinson arrived near the plaza less than 15 minutes before the shooting. But those leaked surveillance screenshots show him in the area hours earlier, and carrying a backpack. If that was the same weapon later used in the assassination, why was he there so far ahead of time? And what did he do for those missing hours? Then there's the weapon itself. Law enforcement insists the rifle was purchased legally and registered to Robinson. But internet sleuths uncovered posts on a gun forum tied to an email address allegedly belonging to him, asking about custom modifications months before the shooting. If that's true, this wasn't an impulsive attack. It was premeditated. And then there's the digital evidence. Investigators say Robinson's phone pinged off 3 towers in the hour leading up to the shooting. But one of those pings places him almost a mile away at the exact same time another tower shows him near the plaza. Was he carrying a second phone? Was someone else moving with him? Or was an accomplice using a decoy device to throw investigators off? Finally, eyewitness accounts. Some describe seeing only one figure on the rooftop. Others claim they saw a second shadow slipping away into an alley just as police arrived. That figure has never been identified. Each of these cracks might be dismissed on its own, but together they paint a troubling picture. A picture that aligns disturbingly well with Robinson's confession. So what does this all mean? If Robinson is telling the truth, and that's still a big if, then this case is much bigger than anyone imagined. Let's break down the 3 leading theories circling this case right now. Theory 1. The lone wolf. Some experts argue Robinson is still the sole perpetrator, that his confession is nothing more than a desperate attempt to spread the blame and muddy the waters before trial. This theory suggests the inconsistencies in the timeline are simply reporting errors, and the digital evidence has been misinterpreted by online sleuths. Theory 2. The mastermind. This is the one that's catching fire online. According to this theory, Robinson was just the triggerman, the hired gun, carrying out a carefully orchestrated hit. The name he dropped in his confession? The alleged mastermind. The person who bankrolled, planned, and maybe even selected the target. If this theory is true, the real power behind this assassination hasn't even been touched yet. Theory 3. The cover-up. This is the darkest theory, and the one that's gaining momentum on Reddit and TikTok. Some believe Robinson's silence was never about fear of self-incrimination. It was fear of retaliation, fear of exposing a network so powerful that keeping quiet was his only way to stay alive. And now that the confession has leaked, the theory goes, Robinson's days may be numbered. Each of these theories has its believers, its skeptics, and its unanswered questions. Was Robinson truly a lone gunman? Was he following orders? Or is there a conspiracy far larger than anyone wants to admit, one that reaches into places most people would rather not look? And now we're left with a chilling reality. A victim whose life was cut short in broad daylight. A shooter who stayed silent for months, only to break that silence with a single name. An investigation still combing through thousands of files, texts, and witness statements. And now this leaked confession, a confession that has turned the entire narrative upside down. So we have to ask, is Tyler Robinson a desperate man trying to shift the blame? Or has he just handed investigators the key to a conspiracy bigger than anyone imagined? Because if Robinson's claim is true, if there really is a mastermind behind Charlie Kirk's assassination, then the story isn't just about one man with a gun. It's about the people who put him there, the network that kept him silent, and the lengths they might go to keep the truth from ever coming out. So now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Tyler Robinson acted alone? Or do you think he just exposed a mastermind, maybe even a network, behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments below, because your perspective might reveal the one detail everyone else has missed. And if you want to stay ahead of every twist and turn in this case, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications, because the updates are coming fast, and the next one could change everything we think we know about this assassination. Like, share, and send this video to a friend who follows true crime, because this story is far from over.